guess we're just gonna stare at a butt for a little bit.
Am I good to go? Yep.
There we go.
Next vehicle out is a 1944 Ford Lynx
Whose butt? It's Al
Armored
Duffy's.
Scout car.
Al Duffy's
again,
butt is what you were looking
another
at.
vehicle quite rare to see here in Canada. It was built in
Al
Windsor,
Duffy,
Ontario. But again, quite rare. There's only about 5 of these left in Canada. This is a model mark Lynx 2. There's 2 of those, and then there's 3 Lynx 1s. This is a vehicle that actually served in the Italian campaign during World War II.